is going to be a Led Zeppelin weekend, as announced, and I'm going to be digging a bit deeper into the band with 2 of their songs. I don't know what the second one is, but I see the title of this one in front of me is Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. So that's what I have today. Now, before I dive in, let me remind you that you can always check out Ko-fi and Patreon memberships if you want early access to videos before they go public and exclusive access to videos which can never go to public due to copyright reasons or other issues we have with publishing them on a public platform. Now let's go to Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. Well, I should also say that while this is my first time hearing this song, if you've been following me, you know it is not my first time listening to Led Zeppelin. That happened with Stairway to Heaven, and later I did Kashmir. So I have heard 2 Led Zeppelin songs already. And, well, Kashmir has kind of gone on my list of among the best that I've heard in this journey. So now I have Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, and let's see what I have to find out about this one. It is a folk song written by Anne Bredon in the late 1950s. Joan Baez recorded a solo version in 1962. And guitarist Jimmy Page heard it and began developing Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You early in his career as a session guitarist. He played the song for singer Robert Plant during their first meeting at Page's Riverside home at Pangbourne in late July 1968. Although based on the Baez version, Led Zeppelin came up with a very different approach. I am not familiar with the Baez version either, so maybe I should dig that up at some point just to compare. But anyway, Led Zeppelin incorporates hard rock sections with electric guitar that are performed by the whole group, thus more than doubling the length of Baez's original. When the recording appeared in their 1969 debut album, the credit read Traditional, arranged by Jimmy Page. That's a pretty common credit for any song that is kind of built into the popular awareness to which we don't know the author. Because at the time, the authorship was unspecified on Baez's album. In the 1980s, Britain was made aware of Led Zeppelin's version of the song. 1980s. Well, that was 1969. Okay, so Britain took some time finding out about this song. I guess it was at least 10, 12, 15 years after it came out when she finally became aware of it. Since 1990, the Led Zeppelin version has been credited to Anne Bredon, Jimmy Page, and Robert Plant. Bredon received a substantial back payment of royalties. Interesting history there about the authorship. All right, well, let's see what it sounds like, because I already have a little idea of what Led Zeppelin can sound like, and I enjoyed it. It's been quite a while since I listened to any of their music. I'd like to see what this one sounds like.
Baby, baby, I'm gonna leave you. I said, baby, you know I'm gonna leave you. I'll leave you in the summertime. Leave you when the summer comes rolling. Leave you when the summer comes along. Baby, I wanna leave you. can hear it calling me the way it used to do. I can hear it calling me back home.
I'm going to stop it here because, well, it was tempting to let it go all the way, and maybe I should have, but all the way up until this point, it's been such an experience listening to it. And I just have to take a moment to express and say how incredible the emotional element of his voice is in this song. It's, well, I'm thinking back to when I first started this journey more than a year ago now. And at that time, I had this idea that I might try to assess and apply a grade to different elements of a song. And I broke it down into three main categories. There was the compositional element, the melodic element, and the interpretive or delivery of it. And I'm thinking especially of the delivery of it and how important that is when it comes to whether a piece of music is successful or not, and how successful it is and how impactful it is. And in this particular song, I'm remembering that original idea I had especially strongly because so much of this depends on the delivery of it, or what we in the classical world might call the interpretation. You can have a piece of music that is very fine, but if you don't deliver it to the listener well, if you're not able to give the performing art element of it, it's the part of it that you cannot write down on paper. It's the part of it that you cannot repeat even one time to the next exactly the same. It's very much like, we could say, dancers or figure skaters or other ballet, other performing arts, where it's all about motion. It's all about something happening over the course of time and within time. It's not something that we can hand to another person on a piece of paper, that we can hang on a wall and look at, that is static. There is an element of motion and art through time. And that here is a huge, important part of this piece of music. Well, The song itself is quite nice. It has a nice sequence of chords. The melody is very, very natural and appealing, but the way in which he sings it, his voice, the way the entire band paces it, the ebb and flow. There are points where it just seems to swell and then relax, a bit like a wave flowing onto the beach, onto the sand, and then sinking back into the water. And then there's the tone. How does he control his voice? And the other instruments as well. So that's just something that is really present in my mind right now. And I feel like up until this part of the song, it's been incredibly well done. I suppose if I were back in the days of trying to apply a grade, I might have to give it a 10 out of 10. Anyway.
I know I never gonna leave you, babe. And I gotta go away from this place. I gotta quit you, yeah. Oh, baby, 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 woman, a woman, I know, feels good to have you back again, and I know that one day, baby, it's gonna really grow, yes it is. We're gonna go walking through the park every day, I must say, every day. Really good. You made me happy every single day. But now I've got to go away. That's when it's calling me. I said that's when it's calling me back home.
That is an incredible piece of music. I say that not meaning that it's some grand symphony, But it's not about whether it's a symphony or a concerto or I don't want to diminish or give the impression that one format, one form is somehow greater than another. Of course, there are these incredible symphonies and concerti that are these long works and very highly developed, but you can also have the song format. And it's absolutely incredible. And this is one of those where we forget about the form. We forget about the whatever technique goes into creating it. Because the music that is delivered through it is what hits us. And that is what happens here in this song. It's not about, okay, verse, refrain, chorus, bridge, solo. We're not thinking about those things. And to me, that is what makes a really great piece of music. When whatever material is used to such an effect that it leaves us with an experience, a musical experience that takes us somewhere or gives us makes us feel something or understand something or see something. That is what happens here. So effectively. Well, I'm going to go back through and point out some of the things that really stood out to me because I think it's worth it in this song, and it's a special song. It has a lot going on in it. And so let's go back to the beginning and go through. I'll pause from time to time. What we hear in the introduction there, that nice arpeggiated guitar sound, is the sequence of chords that most of the song is built off of. We have A minor, and then still A minor, just with an added 7 in the bass. Then we go to a D, D7. We get to go to a 6 chord, an F chord, but the guitar mainly plays it just as an F chord. And then we end up with an E major, and then back to A minor. And what are the relationships here? Well, A minor, of course, is our home. That's where the song lives. That's where it begins, that's where it ends, and that's where it always returns to. And then the D is our major 4 chord. So it's 4 notes up from home. And then F ends up being a 6, which in a minor key happens fairly often, a major 6. That means 6 notes up from A. And then, of course, we finish with our wonderfully useful, effective 5 chord, which takes us back home. And the sequence begins all over again. And so, while the guitar, every time the sequence plays in this intro, the guitar fingers the notes a bit differently. It is still the same chords underneath. And if I were to play it several times over, just repeating that sequence, it would work really well with the song and sound somewhat like this. actually, that's kind of what the guitar does. As you listen throughout the piece, you hear the same pattern coming back over and over and over again. And that is one of the things that we hear in this music. Well, there are so many other things too that we want to listen for as well. So I won't dwell on this for too long, but just listen to the intro here and get that established in your awareness so that when it comes back, you can pick it out fairly easily. See, the notes are a bit different up here. They're higher, but it's the same pattern. And then,
baby, I'm gonna leave.
That's what the voice rides on.
I said, baby.
And listen to how the entire, I'm going to say orchestra, the entire ensemble has this wonderful sense of where the music needs to move and where it needs to relax. Think of it like, shall we say, the silly putty that kids play with. It's this very rubbery, elastic, or even chewing gum. It has this stretch to it. And you can pull it, and you can feel the stretch, and you can pull it a certain length, and then if you wait there, it begins to relax in that place. You're not necessarily making it longer or shorter. You're just allowing it to relax. And the music does this too.
Baby, I'm gonna leave you.
Let it relax.
I said,
and then it moves again. Relax.
You know I'm gonna leave.
And then it moves again. A little more, and then it starts to relax again. And picks up again. And then, of course, we hear more bass here. And then suddenly, we are locked into a more rock style. The tempo has not changed. But here it's allowed to be a little bit more flexible. And here's where it breathes a little bit. And so, it's not just about the notes. It's not just about the tone of the notes, but it's how they're handled. Where it's intense, where it relaxes, where we pull it tight, where we suddenly lock in at a certain point, and other places where we simply allow it to breathe very naturally. That doesn't mean that we are out of sync with the beat or the rhythm, that we are losing our grip on the pulse of it. Instead, it means that we are treating it as it becomes a living thing, a living being. And just like any living thing, let's take ourselves, let's take the human being. We can rest, we can be active, we can be moving very aggressively, we can be sitting in one place very rigidly, we can sit in the same place very softly. All of those things show up in the music. And that is one of the things that makes it feel so alive.
I ain't joking, woman, I've got to ramble. Oh, yeah. Baby,
There's something in the background there. And the first time that I listened to this just a few moments ago, I don't know if it showed on my face, but I heard this in the background, and for a moment, I thought it was the baby crying because she's asleep in the other room right now. I'm doing this right now while she's sleeping. And I have a little monitor speaker in here, and I can hear when she wakes up. And I heard this. At first, it sounded like a baby crying in the background. Listen to this.
Baby, I really got to ramble. I can hear it calling me the way it used.
But I think, as I'm listening to it now, it's not the baby crying. It sounds like perhaps his voice or another voice, but it's far away. You can't really make out what it is, as if it's the voice that is calling him. I've really got to ramble. I ain't joking. I've really got to ramble. And it's as if it's this voice that's calling him from far away to go, to ramble, to wander.
Baby, I really got to ramble. I can hear it calling me the way it used to.
The way it used to.
I can hear it calling me back.
That's the other thing. I haven't really talked about it yet, are the lyrics and what the song is expressing. And this pull to wander, to ramble, to... If you remember, it's a bit different, but if you remember Shenandoah, again, the story of somebody who has left and is wandering. And then, of course, Shenandoah is about the yearning to come back home. I long to see you. And here, it's kind of the flip side of that. I've got to ramble. This is before I leave. I've got to ramble. I've got to go. And I'm a wanderer at heart. I cannot stay anchored. I love you so much, and I don't want to leave you, but somehow something in me just forces me, requires me to go because I wouldn't be myself otherwise. What a tragic, difficult place to find oneself in. Because if you love this person and you want to be with them, and yet to be yourself, you cannot stay anchored in one place. You have to go. And the torment, the pain that this imposes on both yourself and the ones around you, of course. That's the baby, actually. And so when he comes to this moment, and this first scream that he lets out, it has this sort of ripping, fabric ripping sound. And that's the impression I get, is this is him being torn in two. He has two things that are holding him, two parts of him, and they cannot be in the same place. And so it's the ripping apart of his own self. And you hear it in this voice here.
Me the way it used to do. I can hear it calling me back home.
And out of that, we move into this more rock style where it's invincible, it's inevitable, it cannot be interrupted. It's as if that is what's happening and it cannot be stopped.
I can hear it calling me back home.
that's just, we could say that's just a sound effect. That's something that rising sound, we could say it's, well, I've learned that it features fairly commonly in rock music. It's used to add another layer of sound, a texture, but here in this context, it feels as if after this ripping, tearing, and the inevitability of it, and the unavoidability of it, and the being almost forced to go through with it, then we hear this release, as if something in him has vaporized, and this rising sound is kind of an evaporative disappearing into the universe. Because I guess you could give it other interpretations as well, but that's how it feels to me as I am listening to it these first times. And then it gets really gritty here and rather resolute. Notice that even in that hard section, we still have this same bass, which is we've got and it's a bit tricky for me to play it like the guitar is rhythmically. Da 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 dum bum 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 bum. But still, even though the textures and the character of both of those parts is so separate, so unique in its own, the harmony is still the same. And that's one of the things that helps it be not just a sort of whiplash effect of throwing us from one thing to another random thing and back again, and where's the sense in this, and oh, we're just doing it for the shock factor. No, we're not doing it for the shock factor. We're doing it because it suits the message and the emotion, the interpretive needs of the song in order to deliver it to the audience. And even within that contrast and the conflicts that it expresses, we still hear the continuity of that harmonic sequence. This has an almost exotic feel to it, doesn't it?
I know.
The words are saying, I hear it calling me back home. At the same time, I have to roam, which makes me think that this home perhaps is the side of him that is at home when he wanders, when he's roaming. And then we get this little bit of exotic feel in this in these few bars here. Which again makes me feel like he's hearing this distant land, this other world calling to him, which is not the place of home. It's the experience of wandering that is home to him. This guitar here.
I know I never gonna leave you, babe. And I gotta go away from this place. I gotta quit you, yeah. Oh, baby, 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 woman, a woman, I know, feels good to have you
There's
back
few
again,
guitar notes
and
there.
I know that one day, baby, it's gonna really grow, yes it is. We're gonna go walking through the park every day. Come on, say, every day.
Again, there's this expression here in this verse. It's good to have you back again. And I know that one day it's really going to grow. Yes, it is. I guess the relationship, the love between them is going to grow even more. We're going to go walking through the park every day. It's as if he's looking ahead, trying to reassure himself that I can come back to this, that there is still the possibility of a future here. He doesn't want this part of him, this part of his life to die, to disappear. It's again this split between his two needs, his two loves, and the conflict and difficulty that it puts him in, and he's trying to reassure himself as well as her. It's really growing. You made me happy when skies were grey, but now I've got to go away. That's when it's calling me.
Every day.
It's almost as if he's crying. Like a little touch here.
You made me happy every single
And we
day.
have a bit of voices behind the ooh.
But now I've got to go away.
I like this fourth beat here. Da 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 dum bum da 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 dum bum da 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 dum bum. We're hearing that in the drums, but listen to what happens on beat 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's when it's calling me. I said that's when it's calling me back home.
Listen to the descending. What an incredibly beautiful, impactful piece of music that is. Again, I have to say it's the delivery of it that makes it so. The technical elements are not weak. They're not what I would call virtuosic, at least from my perspective. But it's not, sometimes it has been suggested to me that I listen to more virtuosic rock musicians, and I will. I guess I have listened some, but I will go further into that area. But I'm not looking for virtuosity as some justification or some validation of whether the music is good. I am looking for the actual music, the art, the impact, the expression, the experience. Sometimes virtuosity serves that incredibly well, but just as we can make a computer play notes faster than any human ever could, and we would be a bit foolish to say that that makes it better music, more musical. So also, with a piece of music like this, it's not about how fast can you play, how impressive can you be with your instrument or your voice, what sort of technical fireworks can you display. Not at all. It's about how well can you deliver the experience to the listener. And I think that is an incredibly strong point for this song. And the way they perform it is that it gives us the experience. And it's an incredibly intense and deep experience. And it pulls us different ways, and it really impacts our emotional side. And they do it practically flawlessly. Well, there we have Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. My first of this weekend, and there will be another one coming up. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll find out soon enough. I'll see you next time.